A flimsy lunch tray here, and welcome to our video today, as I'm excited to share this battle replay with you because it is my new highest damage record in random battles, and I'm now in the 300k club. So it wasn't too long ago I actually showcased a battle with Ohio of breaking my damage record and my XP record. Since then I've broken the XP record with Minotaur. I haven't even shared that video yet, and now I've broken the damage record again with Ohio. So let's talk about the Ohio. So maybe some of those of you who are not familiar with the ship so much, and I've already done an upgrade commander build video on the ship, and I'll throw that up at the end if you want to check it out. But the Ohio is essentially a tier 10 Montana, like the hull, the health pool, the armor layout, all that's the same. The difference begins first with her guns. So Montana has 12 16-inch guns. Here with Ohio you have 8 18-inch guns, or if you want to be very specific, they're 17.99-inch guns. And they do a heck of a lot of damage. They have a very high AP alpha damage. Even the HE is really good. I think you have over like a 40% chance, 43% chance of setting fires. So these guns are just phenomenal. Now, I'm really drooling over a broadside Yoshino. I love broadside Yoshinos. They're always broadside, you know, so they're just the best things to shoot at when you're in a battleship. But these guns perform really well. So to talk a little bit more about the guns, I've gone back and forth between in the 6 slot, where you can take the main battery modification 3 to get your reload time down to like 24 seconds. And in this video, I have the artillery plotting modification 2, which reduces your maximum dispersion -11%. So you're even having tighter shell groups. Okay, let's talk about this here. Look at the Okachov, who's in front of me. He pops Hydro, sees the torps. He's tunnel vision shooting Shimakaze, someone in the back, but he has Hydro. He has Hydro. He has Hydro. I don't know if he panics here and has a sudden rush of crap to the brain, but instead of turning away to avoid the torps, even though he had a 3-6 search up, he just, like a deer in the headlights. So he died. Unfortunate. So I laughed really hard because I saw him have the Hydro up, and the fact that he still died I found rather humorous. So the Shimakaze player who killed him is rather a toxic Shimakaze player. So I'm not going to spend much time talking about him, but we're going to see him throughout the battle, basically. So yeah, so these guns, phenomenal performance. I've gone back and forth with looking at doing the main battery modification 3, doing the artillery plotting modification for that greater accuracy, and so I decided that I was just going to try the accuracy out for a while again. Of course, the reload is great when you get it lowered, but sometimes that additional accuracy is just really good. Now, explaining the thought process here, I had to pull out. I had to turn away, because the longer I wait to turn away, the worse things are going to get for me, because you can see it's just me and the Kagero, and that's it. That's all that's on this flank, as we have our friend in the broadside Yoshino and take some shots at. But it's just us here. So we have the Shima, Cherbourg, Ohio, what was it? Yeah, there's just a lot of enemy ships here, so we can't sit in. We have to kite from this flank immediately. And we got a nice citadel on the Yoshino, and once again we can still see him, so we're gonna go for him again. I'm gonna aim a little forward because he wants to keep shots on me, so he slowed down before he went past the island because he didn't want to lose shots on me. But we do 2 citadels, and it instantly jumps us up to 72,000 damage. So he's hurting, which is great. So that means we should get him quiet for a bit and not throwing HE spam at us. So I asked Kagero to get back because there's no way that I can support him. He's in a really terrible position. I mean, it's great he's on the side, but you can see the C's being flipped, which means there's a destroyer on the cap. We don't know what destroyer it is. so we're just going to keep moving away. I'm really concerned about the Shimakaze. So you can see here, I dumped some depth charges, maybe get some AA. But then there's the Daring. The Daring's on C, and I'm pretty certain there's another destroyer on the cap. I don't know if it's the Kagero, I don't know if it's a Shimakaze, but I'm pretty confident there's another destroyer on the cap. So Kagero is trying to run away, but he ends up notzing on the island. So it's basically just a matter of time before we lose him here. So we've lost our Amagi. And here's the tricky challenge with this battle. This battle, even though I'm hinting that I'm, or I have said we break 300,000, this is a very, I would say, kind of boring game. There's nothing super exciting that happens till maybe like the very end. We got the Citadel underneath the front turret. That's what we were aiming for. But there's nothing really super exciting or mind-blowing that happens here. In this type of position, when your team completely collapses on the flank, the last thing, I don't want to just simply run to like H7, H6. I want to stay on this flank to support, get a kind of a crossfire going and punish the enemy team when they try to move from C to Bravo. But there's a really bad situation here. There's at least 2 destroyers here at C. So I type in chat to kind of let the Montana know that's who I have in mind when I say at least 2 DDs at C. Like, it's really, this isn't a safe area. He needs to like start turning and getting away like now. Like, for him to push in with just me back here 4 kilometers behind him is not smart. And here you can see our little toxic friend in the Shimakaze, who's kind of trolling a bit. And so this Montana is about to eat a lot of torpedoes, but he's also eating some decent damage. I think he took a sit there, or a lot of pin damage from the Conqueror or the Ohio in the back. And just like that, we've lost another friend. So everyone who's with us on this flank just ends up dying. So I'm concerned the Daring's coming up behind me. Again, we still haven't seen the Kagero. We know Shima is somewhere around in C, roughly. So this is just a crap situation for myself to be in. And I'll throw some pictures on the screen. But my goal in this video was I was trying to, or this battle, for the Puerto Rico dockyard, I had to get 43 million potential damage. And then I decided to take Ohio because there's also a side thing where I could get, if you get 200,000 damage, it'd get me that 6th achievement I needed, or 6th unlock. To unlock the next combat mission change. So in my mind, I'm going for 200k, but I at least want to get some good potential damage in this game, if nonetheless. So it is the Kagero who's behind us, so he just decided to take some pot shots. I'm pretty sure he was baiting us when he was shooting there. So rather than instead of turning out right, because again, I don't know where the Shima is, I don't know where the Daring is, I decided that we're not going to do that. We're going to instead turn to port when I turn to left. Now we're turning back out starboard, we're going right. We've switched to the HE because if the Kagero pops up again, I want to be able to shoot him. So he's either still behind me, or maybe he's coming out to my right, like let's say my 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Maybe he's moving in that direction from this position. So when you have a destroyer hunting, pushing you like this, you got to keep messing with your rudder shift. And then I'm already killing the throttle. Well, the throttle's going down because of the turn. But I decide I got to keep messing with my throttle. I got to keep changing the rudder shift because I want to throw him getting any type of torpedoes off, because he's got 8 torpedoes and they're Japanese torpedoes and they tend to hit pretty hard, though I don't know which set he has. So we're still firing HE. I'm still keeping in mind. I'm looking down to the right, and here I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and cut the throttle. We're going to turn out. We've kept that course for just a little bit, and you can see that a certain sense, my 6th sense is rewarded here. But it's not really a 6th sense. I know he's hunting me. He's either pushing me from behind, or he's trying to get out around me to my 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock here. So it was just a guess. Just by playing the game long enough, I had a good idea. Now we haven't seen Shimakaze torpedoes, but if you look, he just killed the St. Louis. So we know he's not around us at this point in time. The Daring was detected down by Bravo, so I think it's just the Kagero, and here you see he shoots. So in case he gets lit, I decide I'm going to go ahead and move my shells over that way. and we're not able to get a shot, so we're going to use HE again on the Ohio. Now, using the HE is not bad at all by any means, because you have a really good fire chance with these shells, and they do decent damage. Like that was a 9k salvo, 6 pins, 1 non-pin. But we're also going to be able to get some fire damage out of that. So even though we're still not shooting, if this Ohio lets the fire tick like he is now, we're still able to collect fire damage off of him. And this is a thing that I'm also doing here. I'm wanting him to get comfortable. Oh, this enemy Ohio is just shooting HE, he's shooting HE, he's shooting HE. I'm just going to go ahead and show more side than I would. So that was a low HE salvo though. So I switched back to the armor piercing because he doesn't really perceive me as a threat. He doesn't even have his guns looking this way. He's probably thinking the Kagero is going to get rid of me, and he's trying to get shells off on someone else across the map. But we slowed down. We're getting a really good broadside salvo in on him, and 20k right there. Now I was playing with my throttle going forward, going reverse, and here you can see the torpedoes actually run out. So that Kagero's, I think they're 10-kilometer torpedoes, and you can see the other set went a little farther up ahead. So we were able to mess with him a bit more. Now what I'd really like to do is finish off this Ohio before I turn in, because this is a situation where I can keep running, yes, of course. But at some point, something's got to give. Something needs to happen. Something needs to change. And there'll be times when I've been kiting like this, running away from the Kagero, where all of a sudden, if I decide to go aggro, it can catch destroyers off guard when they're trying to be really close to you. Like, let's say he's trying to be 6.5 kilometers, and all of a sudden you turn into them, you spot them really quite quickly, and can catch them off guard and possibly get the kill. So we just blew through 200,000 damage, and this is, I actually stopped looking at the damage counter at this point because I'm really, I wouldn't say distracted, but I'm really trying to pay attention to my surroundings and focusing on where this Kagero might be. So we dodged this set, but here he is on the left. This isn't good. He's gotten further around me than I anticipated, which means we are going to be eating some torpedoes here. Looks like we're going to eat 3. That did a big chunk of damage, and we get the damage control party off as well as the repair party. And we need to focus him with secondaries. He fired. He didn't need to fire. I think he was just trying to bait me to maybe slow down into all 4 torpedoes, because I would have died if I would have eaten all 4. So he's trying to bait me, and I saw him do that earlier. So when he started shooting, I knew that wasn't a good sign, that he was trying to get me to turn out or show more broadside. So we did manage to actually set a fire. I believe it was with our secondaries. So I go ahead and take a blind shot here because I don't want him to live. I want him to die, and our fire ends up killing him. So there's a bunch of fire deaths in chat right now. Okay, cool. So we dealt with him. The Shimakaze just killed the Napoli. So that's not good. And he's got Kraken Unleashed. So that means he's not that far away from us per se. But we have bigger issues here that we have to keep an eye with this Bismarck. So we are able to set them on fire. We switch back to the armor piercing. As I am running Halsey as my commander here on the Ohio. So unfortunately those torpedoes did a lot of damage, so I don't even get to heal much of that back at all. So we're just going to be hanging on to that heal for the time being. So my goal here with the Bismarck is to mess with him, to increase throttle, decrease throttle, turn in, turn out, so I can try to mitigate the amount of damage here. And here you get Halsey still talent activated with Confederate, where our main battery reload time is reduced. So now I'm fishing for Shimakaze. I'm thinking, okay, Shimakaze. If I was a Shimakaze, I'd be coming up after me. It's low health, large battleship who's about to die. Not good. Here you can see it's continuing to pay off when we keep messing with our throttle, accelerating, deaccelerating, turning in, turning out here with the Bismarck. Now, I have to stay bow in towards where I think the Shimakaze is. I'm pretty sure if he's anywhere, he has to be somewhere up around me, probably like F7. He could be F8, or I'm sorry, yeah, F7, or E8. I'm thinking he's somewhere in front of me, and I'm like, oh crap, let's pop the heal now. Let's try to get the salvo off before I die. And out of 15 torpedoes, only one of them hits us. So a bit of dumb luck there. But I say dumb luck, but we were purposely keeping bow in, expecting torpedoes to come from that direction. So we did get lucky, but it was also that we were trying to create our own luck, if you will. So he decided to shoot at us because we were really low. I think he really wanted to get the kill on us. Bismarck whiffs that salvo. Yoshino's chiming in now again. And we switched to the high explosive that we're wanting to finish off the Shimakaze, and our secondaries get him. So I'm expecting to die after the next salvo, most likely, because it's Bismarck salvo. So I'm like my team now, I'm like, hey, I'm probably dead, just letting you know. But we go ahead and we get this salvo off. We turn in a bit. We don't take a whole bunch of damage, only 4k from that Yoshino salvo. And now I know there's probably gonna be more coming, so I need to get this salvo off before I die, because I'm just expecting death anytime. And he whiffs that salvo with that turret set. Here's the Bismarck salvo. I'm expecting this salvo is gonna be the salvo that kills me. It's not. So that's nice. We get the fire set, 2 fire set actually on the Bismarck, and Yoshino finishes off. So I responded to Sad Day to the Shimakaze, because he's been trolling everyone, and I was toxic. I was happy that I killed him. So I was very thankful that he helped me break my new damage record. So that's off to the Shimakaze player. So we tried to do what else we could to help our team out before dying. We had that Yoshino. I think we had him down about 10k there at the end, and then he's been able to heal back some damage. The last time we shot at him, that is after he took those 2 sits. So our team is in a really good position. They have Alpha, they have Bravo. Neither of them need to push in. They just need to play safe, and they will do just fine. So we end with 309,686 damage. We got 3.5 million potential damage, but we don't have to worry about that potential damage combat mission anymore, because we got what we needed for that other combat mission. So Ohio is a really strong ship. I'm so glad that she was the first one, Research Bureau ship I picked up from the Research Bureau, as I have enough research points now to pick up Polyomelio, but I'm waiting. I'm still stacking resets on the Shimakaze line, so that I can get even more Research Bureau points, research points before I finish off in claiming those points from the Shimakaze line. So I have a video about how to do the Research Bureau, like all you need to know. I'll put that video at the end as well, in addition to that Ohio upgrade commander build video I was talking about. So yeah, we do report the Shimakaze for being a bit toxic to the team here and to players. And so my goal is to just kill people with kindness. So yeah, so that is Ohio. One of the other things I didn't really get time to talk about, I wanted to talk about more my thought process, and I've already done a highlight review of the ship, is that she has the 40-second cooldown on her repair party, which is immensely huge. That helps so much with the ship to be able to tank a lot of damage, utilizing your angling. So if you're familiar with Montana, you like playing Montana, you're going to enjoy Ohio a lot, since it has the same armor, same hull, just different guns, has a 40-second cooldown on the repair party, and secondaries. The secondaries are a beast. So if you have something like the Massachusetts or the Georgia, it's essentially the same thing you have going on there, improved secondaries. And the secondaries are just phenomenal on the Ohio. They're not as good as something like the Schlieffen, but they're still really good. And you can even probably do a main battery build out of the Ohio if you wanted to. So that's going to be 1 million credits, 309,000 damage. You got the Confederate, you got the close quarters, we got the high caliber with 3 destroyed, 5 citadels, 8 set on fires, 91 shell hits, and only 56 secondary target hits. But those secondary hits really mattered a lot for us when we were dealing with the destroyers. A Kagero and a Shimakaze, who should not be by any means allow us to spot them, but they both did. So top of the team, 2600 base XP. Our Kitakaze did a phenomenal job. Hats off to him, 1900 XP, as well as the Zeiton for staying alive there at the end. I think he got a Dreadnought or something out of this, so he did a really good job. Here you can see the damage layout, so I'm gonna have both screen images. So main battery, 252,000 damage, 198 from the AP shells, 54 from the high explosive. Secondaries did 18,000 damage. Fires, we did 38,000 damage. You can actually see we got a decent amount of damage of spotting. We did 37,000, which typically you don't get too much damage spotting wise because you're a battleship, not like a cruiser or destroyer aircraft carrier. And this is what we ended with premium accounts, 836,000 credits, all said and done. So Ohio is an amazing battleship. She performs great. I'm still going, I hop back and forth between the main battery modification 3 for that faster reload, and then also the artillery plotting room. But the artillery plotting room, I've just kind of gone with that for now because I appreciate that greater dispersion, that we're having tighter vertical dispersion and tighter horizontal dispersion as our sigma stays the same. You're getting tighter groups vertically and horizontally in your dispersion. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you did not, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you are subscribed, I really appreciate it, and we will catch you next time. Take care.